else might have it. We may have cut it. It may have been burned. But we just need to get power, and usually our trucks have some type of generator, PTO, or the other term for the 110, no one has it anymore. Thank you. That helped. What was the one before the generator? The old style. No, for power. For power. Inverter. All right. And then, so natural, firefighters with PPC, SCBA, mechanical, firefighters with PPC, SCBA, hydraulic ventilation. What's the difference? How does this get so much different than these?
It's using hydraulics.
What?
It's using hydraulics.
Okay, so hydraulics is anything that does any type of a fluid or a liquid, so yes, we have that. But where do we have to be to do this? In the crappy environment. Okay, so that's the big difference between all three of these, or specifically hydraulic, is we need how many firefighters?
2.
Minimum of 2, okay, because it's an IDLH atmosphere. You're in the structure, okay? So we have to have a minimum of 2 firefighters designed to do this. Now let's see how this gets tricky. Where are we going to take that water and smoke and send it out? Window, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What potential problems do we have with that on a day like today?
It freeze.
Very windy.
Windy, freezes.
I was going to say the wind can push it back in, but also can't.
Okay. All right. So the wind can screw with us. Think ahead. What are some other potential problems with this?
The hose lines could freeze up.
Hose lines could freeze up.
Like external, what we talked about earlier, the wind could, the smoke could blow into some other thing that could catch fire.
Okay, it's got water in with it because we're going to have our hose string open. So maybe not right away. But what could be another problem with saying let's do hydraulic ventilation?
You have open water lines, so water lines will make icy like walkways and stuff. So it's a slip hazard for firefighters.
Yep, all of that. When it goes out, it's going to make ice and all that stuff, and then hit the neighbor's house, hit the car, come back in and hit the house. So we got all of those things, particularly out here in Livingston County. What could be a problem that we didn't talk about?
Rust. The water like has like in Heartland like water is like really rusty.
So rust line exists.
Newer, you willing to give up the crown on this one? Okay. Water supply. We're using gallons of water to do this, and if we're not in a hydranted area, then we are using up valuable water supply. Valuable to you, more so than when I was in Wayne County, because there's hydrants all over Wayne County. But out here, we have some areas that are non-hydranted, so you're using up valuable water, which could lead to rust. Okay. So, natural horizontal ventilation takes advantage of natural airflow. No additional personnel or equipment required to set up and maintain. So that's the simple one. Open your correct doors, windows, whatever. So in a perfect world, you would open this window first, the downwind side, so the air can start moving in that direction, and then you're going to open the upwind side. If you open this first, then it's going to go in here, hit the wall, and then it's going to just start circulating around. So it's going to make the condition actually worse until you can get that one open. All right, but simple enough. If you've got enough space and enough openings, take advantage of that. No rust with horizontal ventilation. Natural ventilation before or during fire suppression. Only a single opening is made. It will be the intake and the exhaust. So if that's what you're going to do, it will be both. It will have a little bit of a neutral plane, which obviously will go up as more smoke is relieved. Opening windows or doors may allow firefighters to apply straight stream or any stream from the exterior to make the compartment more tenable for interior attack. So what are we doing? Taking away heat is what that talks about. If we can get the wet stuff on the red stuff, things get better. Door control can be used to change the flow path. So again, we can close doors and take advantage of making a big space smaller. And then control natural ventilation as much as possible. We don't get to pick when you get wind gusts and stuff like that, but multiple openings can, speed smoke removal could result in property damage. Typically when we open up windows, we're going to open them up all the way. If there's double hung windows, we're going to take out the panes so we get a big opening, typically. Check with your officer before you do any of that. But if it's a hurry, then we're going to break it out. Use an axe or a pike pole or a Halligan. If we're not in a hurry, open it up and take those pieces out and set them off to the side. So it depends. Is it before the fire or after the fire? Mechanical horizontal ventilation. So mechanical means that we are talking about assist devices, PPV, NPV. All right. So may be necessary when natural flow is insufficient. So there's no wind today. Uses fans, blowers, and smoke ejectors to create negative or positive pressure. Negative pressure sucks smoke out. Positive pressure pushes smoke out. So the difference, if we have a room and we have a window and we hang our smoke ejector here, and we take our salvage cover, and we bunch it up here, and we turn this on, it is pulling smoke. Smoke's coming out of the window. So it's creating less air pressure here, so everything wants to get to equal. So it's going to come out here. We're pulling it out here. Less here. So it's drawing smoke out and throwing it outside. Got it? Yeah. As opposed to, we take our fan and we blow smoke in. Now this has a higher pressure than what's inside during negative, higher than normal atmospheric. We're creating pressure. So that pressure needs to go somewhere, and it's going to find that exhaust opening. And it's going to go out that way. So we're pushing smoke with this one. The other one we're drawing, pulling, sucking, whatever you want to call it, with that one. So they're two different concepts. That's why we call this, the first one, negative, because we're lowering the atmospheric pressure in that room. And this one, positive, because we're increasing the atmospheric pressure in that room. All right. Do not upset effects of horizontal ventilation. Okay, that can still come into play and help us or hurt us, depending on what we're doing. If we open it up and draw smoke out or push smoke into the wind, then you're going to have to fight that. It's going to take longer to do that. So you look for, when you do your size up, you would probably look for a different window that you might be able to use that isn't got the wind coming right at you. Your hand up. Okay. And maybe horizontal, vertical, but most commonly horizontal. Okay, we're talking about horizontal. And it must be coordinated with other tactics. So fire suppression, obviously. Mechanical horizontal ventilation, positive pressure, negative pressure. All right, so did we just kind of cover that? Positive pressure artificially raises the pressure inside, so smoke gas move towards lower pressure openings. Negative pressure ventilation artificially lowers the pressure inside, so the air moves in more quickly. Good? Mechanical horizontal before and during fire suppression accelerates exchange of fresh air, so it's assisting us in that. Can do harm if the fire's not under control. Okay, so what's going to happen if you're starting a fire in your fireplace and you've got all that stuff in there and it looks like it's going out and you start blowing on it? Is it going to increase it? You're adding more air to the fire. So yes, and you're pushing it to other areas that aren't yet burning. So yes, can do more harm if the fire's not under control. Adds air to the structure more quickly than natural ventilation. because you are pushing more in or sucking more out, and it's got to come from somewhere. If used to create visibility and flow path for interior operations, all equipment must be in place and crews must be ready before ventilating. If used to create visibility and flow path. Okay, so this last statement refers to, and we're going to get to it, I think soon, PPA, positive pressure attack. So positive pressure attack means we are going to use that fan to help us find the seat of the fire more quickly. So this one, we're still working on it, we're not perfect at it, depends on a lot of things going on, wind, structure, etc., personnel, the big one. But in a perfect world, we have this house, and it's okay, big house. We are going to take all of that smoke, start our PPV fan here, push that cone of smoke so it completely covers this whole opening, so the air goes in. At the same time that someone at the back of the house takes out a door, opens a door, takes out a large picture window, door wall, slider, something like that, should be at least the same size or bigger, okay? And the attack crew is right here. That's you, that's me, that's us, getting ready to go in with a hose line. Okay, so now we open, we start, we open, we full throttle it. And now we go in, because we're following the fresh air. So we don't have to work our way through the smoke as much. The smoke is being pushed out the exhaust. So we have better visibility, and we can follow the fresh air to the seat of the fire. But can you see how this would go really horribly wrong if we weren't ready to go in yet? We're just adding a lot more air and giving it a flow path, so it's not unidirectional, it's bidirectional. So we're still working on this. Limitations of mechanical ventilation depends on a power source, okay, the gas engine or electricity, depending. Requires special equipment, requires more additional resources and personnel than natural ventilation. Natural ventilation, one person can do it unless it's still IDLH, then a team of two, but it won't take you long because you can walk and you can see typically. Or if you're doing it during fire attack, you do it from the outside. All right, so here is one of the nevers. Do not put water into a ventilation opening. Okay, ventilation opening is to get heat, smoke, and gases out. If I take my hose string and I push all of that stuff back in, there might be firefighters in there trying to find the seat of the fire, and I'm pushing it all back on you. All right, so don't put water into a vent hole. Okay, obviously there is more air movement with a fog stream than there is as you straighten the stream out and then go to a solid stream. So you use less air on a solid stream, a little bit more on a straight stream, and a lot more on the fog, depending on how wide you make your fog. But either way, don't put water in a vent. Mechanical horizontal ventilation uses after fire suppression. So body fires, we're just taking smoke out. Contaminated atmospheres can be cleared quickly and thoroughly. Confined spaces with low oxygen can benefit from the fresh air. Reduces smoke damage, improves relations with home or business owners. Mechanical ventilation is most effective. So this is after the main body of fire is out. Any fan will do. After fire suppression. Gas-powered fans can add carbon monoxide to the structure, so get that vent tube out there. Ventilation after suppression should lower CO levels. That's kind of what we're trying to do. Take out the heat, smoke, gases, and the gases is CO is the biggie. Wear SCBA and monitor the environmental confirmation that the atmosphere is safe. So our 4 or 5 gas monitors are going to be in play. So we want to wait until they say it's good to take that. That's 20.9-ish%. Hello, folks. We are good. And again, this one, gas-powered fans can add CO to the structure during ventilation operations. We know that. Wear SCBA until the atmosphere monitor says it's okay. and clip that little exhaust tube and roll it off to the side so we don't suck it back into the structure. So after fire suppression, still, advantage of mechanical ventilation and clear containment atmospheres. Supplements and exchanges natural ventilation, okay, so it adds more than just natural. Ensures more control of the airflow because we can move the fan and close doors and windows. Speeds removal of contaminants, otherwise you're waiting for the wind. Reduces smoke damage, you get the smoke out faster. And promotes good public relations because we are helping them get back into their home a little bit faster, and so it's a good PR tool. So this is what proper negative pressure ventilation looks like. Okay, you've got your bar that is extended high up into the door frame and locked in place, and your NPV fan or smoke ejector is hanging from a couple of J or S hooks from there, and we take a salvage cover and we completely seal around here. Now this is a very old school salvage cover. These old canvas ones are, you don't see them too much anymore. They were expensive, they were heavy, and they were very susceptible to damage. Like if you get a hole in your pants, I know some people like the hole in the rip look, but in olden days, if you had a hole in your pants, you would take them to mom or grandma and they would sew a patch on yours, and that's what you would have to do to these. Let's see, you would have to take them, scrub them, both sides, okay, that doesn't change, your plastic ones are going to do the same. Hang them up to dry. How long does it take to dry a pair of jeans? A while? How long does it take to dry a shower curtain?
Not long.
Not long, okay, so that's what we're looking at with the plastic that we've replaced this with. So you'll almost not find any canvas anymore. This is a lot more subject to mold, mildew, and rot than plastic. Plastic ones are, you keep them as long as you can. What happens if you get a little hole in it?
Throw it away. Patch it up.
Patch it up with?
Duct tape. Duct tape.
Duct tape. All right, simple. So that's simple, 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 easy to maintain. And when they get too bad or look too bad, throw them out, get another one. Okay, they're cheap, easy to replace. All right, so we'll end off on this one. Do we have any questions?